Hello, and welcome to my channel. It feels both strange and exciting to be able to say that again. It has been quite a few minutes, quite a few hours, and I think it's been a couple of years since I have actually sat down and uploaded on this channel. And I have taken the time. I have had babies and for the first time in a really long time, I feel like I have a direction. I feel like I'm ready to start creating content again at a slower pace than what I was before kids. So yeah, we're just going to rap about all of that today. I'm pretty sure that the last time I uploaded was either NaNoWriMo 2023 or the Rough Draft Challenge 2023. I have baby brain, so I cannot remember which was the last nano that everybody was okay with it before we all quit. So 2023 was the last time that I actually uploaded content. I uploaded it for NaNoWriMo. And since then, it is now January 9th, 2026. So I think we can technically say it's been a good two and a half-ish years. I'm horrible with math. Since I've uploaded, which by YouTube standards, that's like 82 dog years. So it's been a minute. If you've been here since the very beginning that I started this channel, you probably remember a lot of cosplay content, a lot of conventions, a lot of creative chaos, a lot about anime, a lot about Hetalia, a lot about Attack on Titan. And if you have been here since then, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here and kind of lurking even in the quiet seasons. That season of my life feels like a literal lifetime ago, and it is. It's a good 10 years ago now. But at the same time, knowing that some of you have stuck around to see what else I do really means a lot to me. And I just wanted to say thanks straight off the bat for that. So the big question, where have I been? I have done a lot of things offline and in my personal and in my business life. So about 2 years ago, I really had to press pause on YouTube because when my daughter was born, I really wanted to make sure that I was putting family first. There was just too much going on at the time between recording audiobooks, making sure that the work that pays the bills gets done, as well as I was totally tapped and burnt out creatively when it came to writing. I just started putting like fingers to keyboard again, so to speak, this past January, like January 1, to start a daily writing habit again. And I just needed a minute, and it ended up being 2 long years, but it was well worth it. I felt obligated to keep up with everybody else, all other author tubers, other content creators who were in the writing sphere. And it just became kind of like a toxic productivity thing, and it wasn't bringing me joy, and it wasn't fun anymore. And with all the other outside responsibilities, it just felt like a burden. And I never want writing or content creation to feel like a burden, because it is something that I enjoy doing, and it is something that I love and I want to continue to do. It's just at that time, new baby, fresh 3-year-old, because my kids are literally a day and a half apart in their birthdays. They are 3 years, a day and a half apart. And it was a lot. Needless to say, the last 2 years of my life has pretty much run like a chaotic Hallmark movie, directed and produced by my children. So it's been wonderful. It's been nice. It's been really great to slow down and just enjoy them while they're tiny. But like I said, I am ready to jump back into content creation I feel like I have a lot of things I need to say because I've had 2 years to think about the things that I want to say. I'm just ready and I'm excited again. What I will say that in those 2 years of just being mom, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn A, what's most important to you, B, what's most important to spend your time on, and C, what's most important like in your soul. And you see how selfish you really are. Like, if you want to know how selfish you are as a person, have some kids, because you can't be selfish when you have children. You are taking care of little people, and a lot of the times as mothers, I know that I felt it, we feel like we have to take a back seat. And I've kind of come to the conclusion that sometimes that's needed to put us into a headspace of this is reality and that this isn't forever. This is a season, and you're learning and you're growing and you're stretching areas that you never knew that you needed to be grown and stretched in. For myself, I learned a lot about patience, which I'm still working on. It is one of the traits that I am least flexible in, is patience. And being still when you're breastfeeding a baby, because I was able to actually breastfeed for 18 months, my daughter, which I'm very grateful for. I wasn't able to do that with my son. It's a lot of late nights by yourself with your baby, bonding. But in the middle of the night, when you're exhausted, it's just a lot of time to be still and have a lot of time to think, to pray, to think about all the things you want to do, all the things you haven't been able to do. And you get okay with that stillness and with that kind of forced slowdown. At least I did. But if I'm being completely honest and transparent, it's hardly bad. It's long, it's tiring, it's grueling, but it's never bad. It is so rewarding, and the hardest thing I've ever done, but the best thing that I've ever done, is be a mom. And I love it, and I'm working to get better at it every day. But these last 2 years, I'm really glad that I took a break from YouTube to really refocus and reset my goals, my priorities, and finding more of my calling and what I'm supposed to be doing instead of what I think I should be doing. So let's talk about the obvious first. The old content. It is no longer here. It is no longer on YouTube. I have taken it all down. Cosplay and conventions was a really fun time in my life. It taught me how to create, it taught me how to sew, it taught me how to, run panels and kind of help run conventions and express myself through art and acting. But that version of my life doesn't exist anymore at all in any shape of the word cosplay. That's okay. We grow, we change. And sometimes the best thing we can do is, as creatives, is to let the old go so that new growth and new chapters of our lives can begin. While I will not be making cosplay content anymore, and I haven't for a very long time, I think that's obvious. I'll always be grateful for what that season taught me. A lot of lessons in that season. And for all of you who have stayed through every iteration of this channel, maybe we're all kind of like Pokemon and we've evolved. So hopefully it's not just me. Now for the really fun and exciting stuff. As you have seen, I've rebranded. And this will be the brand that the channel goes by from now on until it shuts down. I came up with this on a whim, trying to think about what I wanted to talk about, because I don't want to just put fluff out into the ether. I want to put things out there that have meaning to me, that have meaning to you, that can be helpful to you. And as I've changed and evolved, my audience is also going to change and evolve. So this channel has officially been rebranded as the Ink Hearth Collective. I want this to be a space for creative mamas, writers who may or may not have children or even be married yet, and homemakers who are trying to live as intentionally as they can in this digital world. The name, I think, says it all for me. I really got into like a deep dive on the Inklings, like C.S. Lewis and Tolkien and stuff like that. And I really liked like the Inklings, that's so cute. So I use ink for creativity and words, but I also really like the idea of the hearth being the center of the home. Every season in my house, I have like the decor. I have the pillowcases that go on, and I have the hand towels and the dish towels and all of that. And I also have the kitchen mats that match. So on this mat, it said, the kitchen is the heart of the home. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, we don't have a fireplace. You know, the hearth used to be the heart of the home. And I was like, ooh, hearth, ink and hearth. Ooh, this kind of sums up everything that I'm trying to do. So hearth is for the heart, home, and warmth. Because here, this is where stories meet real life. And I want that to be true. What you can expect that we are going to talk about. It is still going to have writing content. We are still going to do planners. We're still going to do goals. We're still going to do writing vlogs. We're going to talk about writing. But we're going to be talking about writing and creativity kind of like in the middle of motherhood. Like, how do you make it work? How do you make it fit? Or if you have a really, really high stress, high octane job, how do you make that fit with what you really want to do, which is to be a writer and create? We're going to talk about building a sustainable creative routine while raising kids, which is so important because as somebody who didn't write for 2 years, just cold, no writing, hardly at all. You think about it every day because it's something you used to do every day before kids or before a really intense job. And that eats away at your soul because I firmly believe we were all called to create in some capacity something. And as writers, the words stay stuck in our head and it can really eat away at our mental health. So for me, being sustainable, not going for huge goals like 5,000 words in a day. I mean, those days will happen. You'll have those days, you'll have those times, but those days are not sustainable in the season of life I am in with children. So I aim for realistic, daily, habitual pockets of time and realistic, daily, habitual word counts. We're not talking about anything fancy. You can do it on like a 20-minute nap, or if the kids are watching a show for like 20 minutes, you can go sneak away and type a little bit. It's nothing grandiose. It's not planning this whole sit down routine. It's not, it's not that. It is a habit. It is discipline and finding the time when you can. I am also going to be talking about homeschooling because while my son is almost 5, he's a March baby, so he is in preschool right now, and we're doing that here at home and also through a co-op. And he does like an acro dance class, and he gets to go to the library and do some really cool activities weekly there. So we have plenty to do, but having them home with me all the time means they don't go to school. And if your kids go to school, that's fine. No judgment here. We've just chosen to start out homeschooling. My husband was homeschooled. I was public schooled. I didn't really like school that much. Reasons why we'll get into in a couple of weeks. But we both want to try the homeschool thing first. Our son is excelling at it. He has plenty of friends outside of where we are. He sees plenty of kids. He is socialized. So he does sports. He does activities. He's about to join 4-H when he turns 5. No biggie. But the biggie is mama has less time because I'm the one who's home with them all day. So I'm also trying to balance my audiobook work that I'm still doing, as well as my own creative outputs. Like right now, Daddy has them downstairs because Daddy's off today. And I am up here in my daughter's room, which is like half her room and half like an extra bedroom still situation. And I'm recording these videos. So we're talking about balancing. It's just understanding and in your soul comprehending and accepting, there's the word, accepting that you can have it all. But in order to get 100% out of everything that you want, you might not be able to have it all right now. And that's okay. And we're gonna work through that because that's something I'm working through and accepting and understanding about myself, which goes into what I just kind of said, finding a messy balance between chaos and calling. Like, I'm a mom, my kids come first, I'm a wife, my husband, I'm a Christian, my faith comes above all else, and really informs how I live my life. And, you know, in this season, some things have to be put aside. Things that I might want to work on, things that my husband might want to work on, because we have littles. And that's okay, because we only get little people for X amount of years, and then they don't want us around anymore. And I don't want to miss out on that. But we're going to talk about balancing all of this with grace and humor, because kids are hysterical. They really make you think about yourself as a child. And that can get a little bit interesting when that pops up. So we're going to rap about it. Because here's the truth. I don't have a nanny. I don't have a personal assistant. I don't have an aesthetic writing place. I don't have a library. I have an office, which is half the sound booth that I used to record in, and it is half an office space, and there is a bathroom under the stairs. My Harry Potter bathroom. Literally, my 9 3/4 bathroom. Like, it is under the stairs. It's an old Victorian house, so it's like under the stairs. So it's my Harry Potter bathroom. That is that room. It's not pretty. It functions and everything is organized chaotically, but it is what it is. I want the Ink Hearth Collective to be like a cozy part of the internet where creativity meets calling, and you come here, we talk about something, maybe in writing and creativity or motherhood and creativity, trying to figure it out, trying to make sense of it all, but do it with laughter and humility and understanding that life isn't perfect and it's not supposed to be perfect, but it can be fun and it can be a blessing, and you can do it. You can totally do it. Because if I can figure out how to put time in my day to write just 1,000 words, you can do it too. Because I didn't think I could. I thought it was impossible. Creativity finds a way. Any Jurassic Park fans? Creativity finds a way. If you're a mom, so these are for my mamas out there, or soon to be mamas, you know there are seasons, right? There are seasons where you're writing every day, seasons where you're only writing a grocery list or a to-do list for your to-do list that include the words sleep, shower, read a book for myself. There are times when creativity will flow out of you like a waterfall, and then there are other times where it is like hitting the 57 on a ketchup bottle. Like, it's just not coming out. No matter what you do, it's not going to work. You can't make it work. It just isn't going to happen. And that's okay. Both seasons are okay. Both are sacred. you could learn something super important about yourself and about where you are in life from both seasons. So don't overlook that. Don't overlook the seasons where you feel like you are not creating anything that you can tangibly see, but maybe you are growing in a way and in a place that you didn't know that you needed to grow in, mentally, spiritually, maybe even physically. Motherhood has taught me that art isn't just what you publish, and it's not how many words you get down on a page. Sometimes it's what you live and how you live, because when you're spending time with your kids, shaping and molding them to be good people for the future, instilling good morals and values in them, that is the greatest thing that you could possibly be doing. But society doesn't reward that openly. And you can't necessarily see how productive you're being in children who you feel like you have to tell them to do the same thing 1,000 times before they actually get it. But that day of payoff and raising good little people will come. We just have to remind ourselves that we're in it right now. We're in the building right now. And just because we can't see the growth because they're 4 and they're having trouble staying in their own bed at night, or your kid has had a sleep regression or a potty training regression, you're like, oh my gosh, we've been through this. What's going on? They're not going to go to college like that, okay? It is going to be okay. So if you're a mama or about to be a mama, or you're somebody who has a child in their life who is basically like your kid, or if you're a woman with a high octane job and you feel like your job is your kid, this place is for you. This is not going to be Pinterest perfect. And I love Pinterest. I love the aesthetical idea of Pinterest, and I do it for I do a lot of boards for like my own plotting because I'm a very visual person. But life isn't Pinterest. Nope. This is real life. This is real life. And this is the kind of life where you write during nap time and you voice note yourself chapters while you're folding laundry. Really, really quick. Super small note. Some of you might notice something else. I have published a romantasy series of like 7 books called the Legend series. I had a small trio of novellas, and then I had a standalone book with an epilogue to it. So I had like 11 books out on Amazon. And I believe, because Amazon is weird about this, they're all down. The backlist for me is gone. And it wasn't a glitch, trust me. It wasn't Amazon like tanking my account. It was me. It was intentional. So for the last, when I was writing, from 2015 when I published my first book of the Legend series until the last book that I published, which was, I believe, 2022? No, 2021. It was the year my son was born. I published the last novella, the last of the trio novellas. I wrote romance and romantasy without even realize I was writing romantasy. They were horribly branded. The story was good. It was like the book of my heart that I needed to get out there. And should I have published my first series that I wrote? Caveat, it was not the first book that I had written and finished. It was like the 4th book that I had finished writing. But that was like the first one that I actually felt good enough to publish. I don't know. It was fun, fantasy, not as deep as I wanted to go because it focused more on the romance. But I've grown as both a writer and a mom, and my heart has shifted on the genre that I want to write in. I want my words that I write now to reflect who I am now, not who I was 10 years ago. And I really want stories that my kids could potentially pick up one day with like adventure and fantasy and dragons and magic. So I am currently also in the process of rebranding my author career towards YA fantasy. I think like sweeping worlds, dragons, and like D&D-esque shenanigans, bad light winning over dark, that sort of thing. And it's not about erasing the past, because I have an idea for the Legend series to bring it up a level. Like, I know they say don't revisit your backlist. Once it's done, it's done. I wrote Legend to market. Was that smart? I don't know. The market has changed so much in the past 10 years, and I've been out of it for a while. But what I wanted Legend to be, I didn't do, because I was under the influence of people who were more famous, more prolific, made more money than me. And they were like, right to market. And what was hot on the market? It was romance, now known as romantasy. And I didn't get to do with Legend what I had initially planned. And towards the end of the series, I could really feel myself struggling to write it, because it wasn't what I had planned at all. I finished it because I'm a completionist, but it was very difficult. And by the last book, I could honestly say, sadly, I wanted to finish it, and I wanted to finish well, but my heart wasn't really that into it, in and of the sense that I saw what I could have done with it, and I didn't do it. And I was like, by that time I had also gotten good advice that said, hey, you don't have to listen to the Right to Market group. You can write what you're passionate about. You can write what you want. Just know it might take a little bit longer, but somebody's going to pick it up and somebody's going to like it. I got that advice about book 5, 6, and it was already too late. So yeah, it's just about aligning my creative work with the season I'm in. Yeah, and the values that I hold now. And honestly, sometimes I think the best thing you can do as a creator is realize something isn't working, admitting it to yourself, and starting fresh. Even if people are like, oh, you have 11 books to your backlist. Think about when you do write that one book and everybody wants it. You could have 11 books that everybody else wants to go back and read. But would they? Because it wouldn't be in the same vein of what they just read and really enjoyed. And they'd be like, whoa, what is this? This is a little bit steamy, and this is not YA. So that's why that happened. So for recapping, what can you expect from me going forward? Writing vlogs and creative process videos that actually give you tangible tips that you can go use right away if you want to try them. There is nothing I hate more than watching a video where it's like, learn how to write faster in 5 ways. And they're just talking about theory. They're not showing you process. Like, show me process. They're just telling you theory. And it's like, what is this? Show me how the theory works on paper. So I want to give process. It might be some rehashed stuff that people have already said, but I have a very exciting series planned coming up that I think will hit home with a lot of you ladies. I want honest talks about homeschooling, being a stay-at-home mom, what that means for your creative well and replenishing that, and being good to yourself and understanding when you do need to take breaks and when you do need to put the creative down and maybe pick the creative up and read it instead of trying to write it. Tips for scheduling and planning a day. Because we know it with kids, you can make a plan, but you can't necessarily pinpoint everything down to the hour. But having a schedule and having a consistent flow to the day is super important for children. And I really did bad at that this past year, and I'm trying to get better at it. So learn along with me. And then we're just going to have talks about burnout, how hard it is, finding joy in the chaos when you're just so tired, and being present because that's something that I've also struggled with this past year. And I want to talk about it because I feel like I'm not the only one. Like, I'm seeing trends here on YouTube about, it's not pretty vloggy mommy content anymore. It's like, let's sit down. I need a friend. Grab a coffee. Let's just talk. And I'm like, I am here for it. Because being a stay-at-home mom can be a really isolating experience. One thing I will note about this channel is we are not striving for perfection. We are trying to be better, but we're not going to strive to perfection. We are just going to try to be better because it's mostly about being present and understanding and really accepting what's important. What I'm trying to say is, I am not the creator I was 3 years ago, 2 years ago. But maybe you're not the same viewer either, and that's a beautiful thing. Like I said, we could be like Pokemon, we can evolve. We're allowed to change, we're allowed to grow. If we weren't, life would be boring. So welcome to the Ink Hearth Collective. It's so exciting to actually finally say that. Where we celebrate creativity, motherhood, and everything in between. Where we build stories and homes, and where grace, growth, and good coffee are always welcome. I had so much fun writing that. As cheesy as that sounds, the writer in me was very pleased with that. So thank you for being here, truly. Thank you so much. For those of you who have stuck around from the beginning, if this means this change in content seems like a complete 180 and you're like, whoa, that's so drastic and that's not for me, that's totally fine. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. And if you're kind of like, maybe I am a Pokemon and I did evolve, stick around, hang out. And if you're not into like the nerd references, so sorry. You're gonna have to just deal with that because I am still a nerd at heart. I still game, I still enjoy my fantasy. I still enjoy some fandoms, but that's just me. Also, my son is super into Pokemon right now, and him and my husband are just having too much fun. So there will be Pokemon references. So welcome back to my story. Welcome back to my cozy corner on the internet. And welcome to the Ink Hearth Collective. I will see you guys in the next video where we are going to be talking about my planner lineups for 2026. I can't believe I'm saying I have a planner lineup. It's not that big, it's not that fancy, but I actually have a planner lineup. It's crazy. So from me to you guys, God bless and don't stress.